One of the most common mistakes in complementary feeding has nothing to do with what the baby eats, but with how that food is offered. The right texture, at the right moment, is just as important as the choice of food itself. Offering a texture that is too advanced too early increases the risk of choking. Offering a texture that is too simple for too long can delay the development of chewing skills and make the transition to solid food more difficult later on. During complementary feeding, which is recommended to continue until 2 years of age, texture progression needs to follow the baby's oral motor development, not just their age in months. In this video, you will learn the 5 texture stages a baby should go through during complementary feeding from the start through 12 months and exactly what to offer at each one. If you want more content like this about baby nutrition, subscribe to the channel. We publish every week. Now let's get into it. Number 1. Smooth puree from 6 to 7 months. The first stage of complementary feeding begins with completely smooth, uniform textures. At this point, the baby is just starting to develop the ability to move food from the front of the mouth to the back, which is necessary to swallow safely. They do not yet have the oral motor coordination to handle lumps, chunks, or irregular textures. Smooth puree should have a uniform consistency, with no solid pieces mixed in. Fruits like banana, apple, and pear can be cooked and blended until reaching this texture. Vegetables like pumpkin, sweet potato, and carrot follow the same principle, cooked until very soft, then processed into a smooth puree with no noticeable fibers or pieces. A common mistake at this stage is keeping the baby on smooth purees for too long, out of fear of moving on to more complex textures. The scientific recommendation is that this stage should last only a few weeks, generally between 2 and 4 weeks, before starting the progression to the next texture. Staying on smooth purees for many months can delay the development of chewing skills and make it harder for the baby to accept more advanced textures when that transition finally happens. Number 2. Lumpy puree, from 7 to 8 months. The second stage introduces small lumps within the puree, which is still mostly smooth but with small texture variations that the baby needs to learn to process with the tongue and the roof of the mouth before swallowing. This stage is an essential bridge between fully smooth puree and mashed foods. It teaches the baby to handle small texture variations without yet requiring full chewing. How to prepare it? Puree can be made the same way as in the previous stage, but processed for less time, leaving small soft pieces mixed into the overall smooth consistency. Another option is to mash the cooked food with a fork instead of fully processing it, which naturally creates a texture with small lumps. Foods like well-cooked, lightly mashed beans, mashed boiled potato, and ripe fruits like banana and mango mashed with a fork are good options for this stage. It is normal for the baby to react somewhat to the texture change in the first few days, making faces or spitting a little. This does not mean rejection, it is simply the process of adapting to a new sensation in the mouth. Number 3. Mashed food in very soft small pieces from 8 to 9 months. In the third stage, puree gives way to more coarsely mashed food, with small, very soft pieces more clearly distributed throughout. The baby is already developing more defined chewing movements, even without many teeth yet. It is important to note that chewing does not depend exclusively on having teeth. The baby's gums, along with the tongue and the roof of the mouth, are already capable of processing soft foods even without teeth, as long as the texture is appropriate. How to prepare it? Foods like sweet potato, pumpkin, and banana can simply be mashed with a fork, without processing, keeping small, soft pieces visible. Well-cooked meat can be finely shredded and mixed with vegetable puree. Well-cooked scrambled eggs, cut into small pieces, are also appropriate at this stage. This is also an important stage to start introducing pieces the baby can hold with their hand, especially for families incorporating elements of baby-led weaning. Soft sticks of cooked vegetables, about the size of an adult finger, let the baby practice the motor skill of bringing food to their mouth, while the soft texture reduces the risk of choking. Number 4. Larger soft pieces, from 9 to 11 months. The fourth stage represents a significant advance in texture progression. The baby, usually with a few front teeth already and more developed chewing, is ready to handle larger pieces, as long as they are still soft enough to be easily compressed with the tongue or gums. This is the point at which many parents start offering adapted versions of the family's own meals, rather than separate, baby-specific preparations. How to prepare it? Cooked vegetables can be offered in cubes about 1 centimeter in size, soft enough to be mashed with a finger. Meat can be offered shredded into larger strips or in small, well-cooked, soft pieces. Ripe fruits, such as banana, pear, and mango can be offered in slices or cubes with no need to mash. Foods like well-cooked pasta, well-cooked rice, and soft bread can also be introduced at this stage. The important thing is that regardless of the food, the texture remains soft enough to be processed safely, even though the baby has not yet developed full chewing with molars, which usually appear only around 12 to 16 months. Number 5. Joining family meals from 1 year onward. By the time the baby turns 1, the recommendation is for them to be joining family meals, eating essentially the same food as the adults, with specific adaptations related to safety, rather than basic preparation texture. This transition does not mean that every texture automatically becomes safe. High choking risk foods, as we covered in detail in another video on this channel, such as whole grapes, raw carrot in firm pieces, and popcorn, still require specific cutting and preparation adaptations regardless of age. How to prepare it. Family food can be served to the baby with no added salt and without foods that are inappropriate for their age, such as honey and sugar. Meat can be cut into small, soft pieces. Raw, hard vegetables, when offered, should be cut into thin strips or grated. Fruits with firm skin or pits, such as grapes, should continue to be prepared safely even after the first year. From this stage onward, texture progression becomes less about rigid stages and more about ongoing observation, watching how the baby is chewing, adjusting piece size as needed, and continuing to gradually increase the complexity of their diet as their oral motor skills develop. Texture progression does not need to follow a rigid, identical timeline for every baby. Each child develops at their own pace, and some move through the stages faster than others. What matters is observing the baby's readiness signs at each step, rather than following chronological age alone. Smooth puree, lumpy puree, mashed food, larger soft pieces, and joining family meals. 5 stages that progressively and safely build the baby's ability to eat like the rest of the family. The description of this video has a free guide with the complete first-year feeding plan, what is safe, what to avoid, and when to introduce each food. Just click and download. In the next video, we cover 5 mistakes parents make when starting complementary feeding. See you then.